Hi, star friends. It's Danny with Sagittarius. We're going to do Leo today, and I am not kidding when I say the most cards came out for this style reading that I have seen yet. It's a new style I've been doing, and this is pretty extensive. I want to give you the Oracle card first because I think it's a great highlight, and then you can kind of decide if you want to stick around or not. You received the mirror. This says mirroring each other, self image, relationships reflect our wounds. Introspection. Relationships reflect our wounds. That's really what this reading is about. So, this is going to have a lot to do with a relationship that you're currently in or have been in. Um, Either way, relationships reflect our wounds. That's going to be really important. All right, let's get started. The first two cards that came out, and this was five cards that came out together that are going to represent your past. Okay, the first two are going to be the Empress and the Magician, but they're here in a reversal. So the Empress upright is she is like, so let's think of the Emperor and the Empress, right? The Empress, she is like the one who says, "Oh, I want this color backsplash. I want this color faucet. I want this color cabinets." And the Emperor, he makes it happen. She's also that maternal energy. So when we have these two in reversal together, this can be manipulation, it can be neglect, or it can be smothering. Those will be more important later. Okay, then we have the Ace of Cups, and then we have the reversed Strength, and then we have the Ten of Swords. So the story here is there's something from your past that was either someone being manipulative to you or neglecting you or overly smothering, and that led you to kind of withdraw from relationships, but there has been new exciting things that you have wanted to try. But there's always been this lack of courage or this lack of trusting yourself to make good decisions in relationships because of this past. And ultimately, those people have always disappointed you. This Ten of Swords is in the traditional card, it's that card where they have all the knives in the back. So it's this backstabbing. You've felt so betrayed and backstabbed so many times. And also, these could have a double meaning where all those betrayals, when you felt, excited about new romance, even though you were scared and you gave the opportunity, all those betrayals have made you possibly neglectful, or maybe you tend to manipulate situations in your current relationship a little bit to a certain degree because you want it to work and you want to have that, white picket fence, right? And then we're going to move on. This is going to be your so this is you in your present tense now. That's a little bit of background of your history that's relevant to this reading. So now we have your present tense, right? We received this is important how these came out. We have the Eight of Cups, but he's in a reversal, which is you not wanting to walk away, you kind of clinging on to your current relationship. But there's an option here, right? Because we have this Two of Pentacles and he's in the middle. So it's kind of between this or between that. So there's this not wanting to walk away, but there's also this knowing with the world here that this cycle is complete. The lessons have been learned, right? So there's this decision that I feel like you know exactly what I'm talking about is you have this probably replaying through your head, this not wanting to let go because of everything you put into it, all the love, attention, money, everything you put into it, all the years. You don't want to let go, but you know that the cycle is coming to an end, it's coming to a completion here. Okay, now we have the hidden influences. This is something that you're not really aware of that is playing such a major role in this current situation or this relationship. We have the Three of Swords, which is the ultimate card for heartbreak, right? And then I think it's Four of Cups. Four of Cups is all about kind of procrastinating, ignoring. So, as a hidden influence, these two together is you're not even really consciously aware that these old wounds from your past are still there. And it could be even with this same person. There's times that they've really hurt you and you felt really betrayed, and those wounds are not healed yet. They're still open. And there's this kind of avoiding working on that, right? Okay, now we're gonna have the challenges. The challenges here, and we have the King of Cups for challenges, which is why I was telling you in the beginning this kind of neglectful or manipulative energy could be belonging to you now. Maybe it's something that people did to you in the past, but there is this message that that is something that you find yourself falling into at times. We see that reinforced here with the King of Cups as a challenge card because he is someone who keeps his emotions to himself. He doesn't really talk about his feelings. He's emotionally independent or appears to be emotionally independent, but he's really on a rocky foundation, right? He's floating through the water on a cup. Like, you're not doing so great, bud, but he's pretending to be, right? So that's you. That's the challenges that we're facing here is you're pretending like everything's okay and you're not really wanting to talk or work on healing through the betrayals that you've faced in your past. And that's why we see this Three of Pentacles. This is about communication and collaborating. So when we see these two cards together, there's a real challenge there. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles, and these are both pentacle cards. And if you add them up, it's actually a four. And four in numerology is about stability. The house has four pillars. It's all about foundation. So there's not really a good foundation, even though presenting wise it may look good to other people, or you're trying to pretend like you're okay, but really there's rockiness below. All right. Now we have, I pulled the reverse Temperance and the reversed Two of Wands. There is not likely going to be a huge major step of growth anytime soon for you, Leo. There is well, when we see this Two of Wands, this is really you taking action to guide your own future. And then we have this reverse Temperance. These two cards are representing, possible outcome that you could have. And, there's this lack, especially with the Temperance. Temperance is Sagittarius energy, and it's this balance that you hold with yourself, but we see it here in a reversal with this Two of Wands also is not really taking the right steps or the right guidance to listen to what you actually need. There's too much focus on trying to make sure the relationship looks good or trying to pretend like it looks good, that you're really ignoring what you really need, which is that lack of balance. Now we have, this is the advice straight from the divine, and you received four cards. The first two cards are going to be the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. I said early on that this hesitation to want to let go or to even want to talk about your feelings is because you don't want to cause problems, because you feel like you've invested so much. But if you're being really honest with yourself, you haven't gotten the return from those investments that you wanted to get. There's And then we have this Knight of Cups. Excuse me. There's this Knight of Cups. He can be, especially because it's in a reversal, it's like all the negative things about the Knight of Cups. He's someone who kind of just rushes in and tries to make things happen. I don't think this is you. I think this could be the other person in the relationship, but they're trying to pressure you. And I say that because the other two cards that came out was the Eight of Wands and the Hierophant. So I see these two. I see that you're kind of sticking around because you don't want to lose your investment, but there's someone who's pressuring you to move forward aggressively, because this Eight of Wands is a very pressurized, chaotic, fast moving. I wouldn't be surprised if they've already tried to get you to marry them or they're trying to get you to move in. There's some sort of commitment that they want you to make and they're pressuring you to. And you're sticking around and kind of playing nicey nice because you don't want to lose out on your investment. But this person's coming in pretty quickly and pretty harshly to try to get you to. And from their side, they could also be not wanting to lose their investment in this relationship, right? So they're like, let's just commit. That will be the band aid that fixes everything. Or they want to have a baby or something like that. Some sort of major commitment that they're going to be asking you to make with them if they haven't already. And then we have your likely outcome. Your likely outcome, we have the reversed tower, right? This is not letting things end even when we should. Even though this tower has burnt down, you're still sleeping in the ashes, trying to make it work. We have the reverse cups. This is neglectful. Again, you may be in the relationship, you may be presenting yourself in the relationship, but your heart is not really in it. And there's that lack of healing, but there's a lot more to it as well. This other person is being, a little bit pushy. I don't get the message that they're really trying to hear you out or try to hear where you're coming from. They just kind of want you to commit and move forward. And this is ultimately going to drive you two apart. This hanging on to something that should come to an end is going to lead to just further disconnect between you two. So we'll have to see what happens in the next reading. Get a little bit more guidance. Again, the future is not set in stone. This is just where you're at right now. These are the likely outcomes for where you're at right now. I hope there was something in here that resonated with you. I hope you got something out of this.